money still chasing the mill. Wasn't lucky, I've been in the field. Got money still chasing the mill. Wasn't lucky, I've been in the field.
Welcome to In the Field Radio on 91.3 FM, WVKR, Poughkeepsie's Independent Radio. I'm Erin Boogie, a.k.a. Petty White, and it's another Monday night, another 10 p.m. I'm not here with Rapz tonight. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Rapz. He's off celebrating tonight. I also had a lit weekend. I went to go see King Bimo at Maroon. That 5 a.m. Lamb Chops is going crazy. He just dropped Make Me Better. And my personal favorite is Touchdown with In the Field alumni, Fergie Baby. Seriously, if you guys haven't checked him out, go search up his catalog right now. I promise you're going to love it. But his performance was fire. I loved it. I'm really happy that I got to go see him finally. But Honchos performed with YNC Youngin in pay-per-view, and they got the town turned upside down right now. So, again, I'm happy I got to see them all perform. That was my first time seeing them perform. And I need all of them on the show from BMO on down. So what's up, guys? Well, I hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day. I'm going to keep the show short this week since it's just me here. But we do have an interview with comedian Michael Agunbiade for you. So let's get into that, and we'll be back next week with a full show. All right? Welcome back to In the Field Radio. I'm Erin Boogie. I'm here with Rapz.
Yo, you know what it is, people. Another Monday night, another 10 p.m. And man, this is a long awaited joint right here, not only because this is my birthday and it's my birthday episode, right? But I do got a special guest in the building, man. I've been waiting to interview this man for a minute. He's a part of something that I've grown a lot of interest in as of these past maybe year or so. I talk about it plenty here on the show, man. So I feel like it's time for somebody to come on and give you a little bit of insight about the stuff that I be talking about. I got none other than Mike Agunbiade in the spot with us tonight. What's good with you, my guy?
Hey, happy birthday. I didn't even know.
Good looks, man. Good looks, man.
Yeah, this is awesome.
How's everything with you, though, bro? I see you busy and booked. Your schedule is looking like how I wish mine was.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's every week. I got like at least 3 or 4 shows going on. A lot of traveling.
I was gonna say, I'm seeing these dates. This is Connecticut. This is you going to Jersey. You out in New York City. You doing stuff here, local to the home base. You out in Newport.
Right.
I was gonna say, man, like that's fire. Cause like now I don't know if you remember, like we met some years ago. I think I was DJing an event that you were performing at, and then we had like a adjacent connection, I would say, right? Some years later, while Javon to the M was putting together his project, with Arizona and the whole crazy run that he was on. Yeah. I actually interviewed him around that time, but you were doing the skits on his album.
Yeah. He had me come in there. We did it all in one day. I think we did like 3 or 4. So a lot of fun, man. I love when comedy meets music, when music meets comedy. That's like my favorite thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like a legendary example of that is on Kanye West's album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. He had Chris Rock on there, do like that little skit. I don't know if you remember, but like, that was like a big inspiration for like when he was like, yo, hop in the stew and like, make something up. Yeah. I was thinking about stuff like that,
Yeah, that's fine. Even College Dropout, they had what was that? Cedric the Entertainer was on a bunch of those skits.
Exactly.
So I definitely feel what you're saying, man. So like I said, man, we kind of initially ran into each other, you performing, locally here in the Hudson Valley with like the comedy and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like the comedy scene kind of took like a dip for quite some time. Would that be kind of like,
Yeah.
Okay, so would that be around the time where you kind of like knew it was like, yo, let me hit this pivot and get into, these roast battle leagues?
Yeah, well, I will say that like my mindset with comedy has always been dip my fingers in as many aspects and forms as possible. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So whether it's like, running skits, doing roasts, like writing for like, like sketches or whatever, or just doing straight up stand up. I've always been like about that approach. I grew up on roasting each other at like the lunch table. You know what I'm saying? So like that's always been like a natural element of me, of it to me. And then it was like another thing to learn how to do it in like a roast battle, because it's a different type of
It's
yeah,
it's a structure, but it's also like
yeah,
they kind of do already have somewhat of like a format to it, you
yes,
know.
exactly.
Now, one thing I did want to ask, like going from, doing the stand up pivoting to like roast battles, where it's like, I'm seeing you a lot, you getting, you popping up on my recommended for you on YouTube and stuff like that. Like, what's the big difference you would say between like getting on stage and killing some stand up versus
Right.
going out for a roast battle? Like, what
Yeah.
are the major differences to you?
I think probably one of the biggest differences is like before you get on stage and you do your set for stand-up comedy, right?
Yeah.
Before you do a show, you go to open mic. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You run your jokes, probably in front of other comics, but you're still running your jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you practice them and you go over them a little bit. For roast battles, it's a little bit different because like you don't really get like that safety net of like, oh, I'm gonna go run these. Like you can't run those jokes for the roast with
Yeah, so
when people
you're
can't.
kind of like only using your own gauge of what's gonna hit.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a lot of like your own intuition. And of course you can ask the other comics, it's like, oh, do you think this is funny? Do you think that's funny? Da da da. And he can give you your advice, but you'll never know what's actually gonna connect with the real audience 100% for sure. It's all based on your intuition. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing that like takes time to build up. Like having like that intuition of like, okay, this is a good roast joke. This will work for the like, for a roast audience, because the
Yeah.
audiences are different too. You know what I mean? They,
Of course.
yeah, they like, I mean, like stand up always depends on where you are, for sure. And same thing with roast. Don't get me wrong, but like, most of the time they want you to be mean. You know, they
Yeah,
want you to
yeah.
get into that. So
No, 100%.
it gives you like a lot more of a for sure flexibility where you could push the boundaries maybe where you couldn't push the boundaries before, but you got to give him something because you also don't want to come too light. And everybody's like, oh, what's going on? Is he okay?
Yeah. So now for the people that aren't aware, I feel like I do a decent enough job of breaking down what like the roast battles are.
Mhm.
Um Now like for somebody who's never been, right?
Right.
Like Erin, we got Erin for instance, right? Erin Boogie here with us. And she's never been to a roast battle. What is she in for if maybe not even a tens one. Maybe we don't got to go there yet. But if you
Right.
sitting down at the house and you throw that on YouTube and okay, this is an hour long
Yeah.
episode. What am I in for? Could you just kind of let the people know?
Yeah, no, totally. So it's typically two battlers, who are stand-up comedians. They are usually given a little bit of time to have like information on each other. You know what I mean? You usually just DM each other, exchange a little information, and then we write 5 jokes about each other, and then we go tit for tat. You know what I mean? So I tell a joke about him, he tells a joke about me. We do that 5 times, and then we give it to a panel of judges. The
Mhm.
judges are all comics with notoriety, that they've been a part of roast for a very long time. They have like
Mhm.
such and such credits, fantastic comedians always. And they judge the battle. They try to decide, who's had better jokes, and if it gets tied, it goes to the audience, and then the audience picks. Um,
Now, I think a major conversation as of late is within the roasting world, I would say, has been like the roast of Kevin Hart that recently came out on Netflix.
yes,
And now there's a lot of talk about that. Like, did some of the comedians take it entirely too far? What's
right,
off limits?
yeah,
And as somebody that is just within this realm fully, like,
right,
eh, eh, do you believe in your own opinion, like, is there anything that's off limits? Is there anything that's necessarily going
yeah.
too far?
Right. So, funny enough, for the roast of Kevin Hart, uh, the some of the jokes I've seen online that people were complaining about, I knew the guys that wrote them. So,
There
uh,
were a lot
you
of
know,
writers behind the scenes for sure.
yeah, a tons. You know what I mean, all the time, especially for those celebrity roasts, something like that. That's one of the jobs that comes with this. You know what I mean? You gain notoriety as like a roast stand-up comedian, and then like a bigger name comedian, like let's say like Shane Gillis, Tony Hinchcliffe, whatever. He picks you out and he's like, oh, can you help me write for this upcoming Netflix roast or whatever? And you're given that opportunity to write, and it's great. I think at the end of the day, I truly feel like nothing is off limits. in terms of comedy in general, but also, in terms of roast comedy. It's more so about if you can make that thing funny, And I have to emphasize that part. Like, it has to be funny if you're gonna go into like a dark or whatever place. Has to be funny. I think. I also think, and I've seen somebody have this take, so I'm kind of like piggyback off of it. But like, I also think roast battle isn't something that should ever be mainstream, because it's hard for everybody to be on board with this thing all at once. Like, it should be for people who go out and seek, like, oh, I want to see like some people go at each other. You know what I mean? And it's always good fun.
Last week when I went to one last week, and I think Brian Moses may have put it greatly, where he said roast battle of the league itself is a rap battle for autistic white people.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's art.
But nah, I do see that it's like, I get exactly what you're saying with like letting mainstream come into it, because once you let too many people in, it's too many people that have a say so, too many people that have an opinion, too many people that run the risk of being offended, and it's more so like, yo, if this is your lane of comedy, then this is where you belong, more so.
Yeah, and to even like double down on like the hip hop analogy. It's like, I mean, we've seen hip hop get commercialized when it went mainstream. You know what I mean? And it took about a little bit of the edge off, right? It used to be, police coming straight from the underground, and then now we got I don't even know what's on the radio. Drake,
Shebang.
like, respectfully.
But yeah, man. Oh, so I do kind of. I want to bring it back a little bit, because we did. You did mention, kind of the exchanging of info beforehand, because you may not be too privy about the person that you're battling, but it's intended for y'all to speak beforehand. I don't know if it's like a couple weeks, a week, whatever it might be, but y'all exchange info on one another, personal, my mom is a banker, dad is not alive, what have you. And essentially, this is what I do as my day job. And you're essentially equipping the other person with ammunition to shoot at you with.
Yeah. The more you give the other person, the better the battle's going to be,
Yes.
So like, I know some people take it very like competitively, and they want like an edge all the time, but like nobody's keeping score for the most part. The funniest battles, those are the ones that get rated. So the only ones that really do count are going to be the ones that your opponent is also doing very well in. You got to give them as much as you possibly.
Because you got to make the battle memorable, not just your 5 jokes.
Yeah, because it's not fun if it's one side beating up the other. It has to be. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're here for. We're here to make fun of people, but also get made fun of. You know what I mean? It's a give and take.
How do you prepare for a battle?
I mean, me typically, everybody's different. I usually take the information they give me. I might make my write 1 or 2 jokes about that, and then the rest of my jokes, I'm just gonna look at the person's Instagram and be like, okay, what does this person look like, right? Like, what type of person it is, because that's a lot of my roast jokes. A lot of my what I found very funny is the visual, you know what I mean? Or just like the imagination of like this person in a unique scenario or a unique situation where not other people think about. But yeah, I typically take my time and I'll look over. So like about a week and a half, week and a half out, I'll start writing jokes. Sometimes, I got a lot of shows. I get a little pressed. I get a little busy. I might do it the day right before, and it's like school. You know what I mean? Like you, when you forgot to write that essay, you're really hooping it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it challenges you.
Now let me ask. I feel like now that we got the overall summarization of what the roast battles are, man. Me being a fan of this, somebody that watches this, I got a couple personal questions. Right now, I need to know off rip. Right, who has been the favorite person that you've battled since you started doing this?
It's a tie, I feel, between Conor O'Brien and Luke Davis.
And Luke Davis. Okay.
Yeah, those are probably my 2 favorites. Conor is a very good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, and just his personality is like a very inverse of my personality, if I'm being honest. Like,
Yeah.
but like it looks like I think they said this was like the set of like a Stoner's movie in like the '90s. Like that's just like the energy we gave, you know what I mean, on stage. So that was one of my favorites, and then Luke. Luke was one of my favorites because like I don't want to spoil the battle for anybody that wants to go watch it. But he didn't tell like a real joke the entire time, but he made it very funny. Like he did
Yeah.
the opposite of what he was supposed to do, and it was probably the most I've ever laughed on stage.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
so let's say like, all right. So I went to the Mother's Day show at the Comedy Cellar.
Right.
Dope show. I got to see Greg Giraldo Jr. make his first appearance
Oh,
on Battle Stage. That was lit. He opened up the
right.
night with can't remember dude's name. Red haired dude. He got the beard.
Oh, I think that might have been that sounds like Connor.
It could be. It could be. So like I watched them. Charity Gregory,
Yeah.
definitely a crowd favorite. One of my
Yeah,
favorites.
she's one of the best. Oh, I
Um,
roasted her. She's probably one of my favorites too.
I was gonna say, I was gonna bring that up. Like that was probably one of my favorite battles for
Yeah.
both of y'all. I like the matchup.
I
But
forgot about
actually,
that.
speaking of like, how is it like with your style is very much not like everyone else's
No.
maybe classical
Yeah.
style of what the roast battle is. Do you feel like that helps you, or is this more like you gotta hope that you're palatable to the audience?
I mean, I think every at the end of the day, every audience it's like a date. You know what I mean? Every audience is like a first date, and sometimes you're on a first date and you really like each other, and then sometimes you don't. So it could definitely happen like that. But it did. I wouldn't have it any other way because it took
Yeah.
me a while to be able to develop my style of roast. Growing up, I had like a different background of what roasting was, and I tried to make, and I finally felt like I made it kind of adaptable to the format, that's presented to me, and that makes it fun for me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was something that came with time, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It
Because
was
I look back at like last year's battle. I think it was Geo Yankee.
yeah.
That there was like the epitome of like lunch table roasting. Like
Yeah,
that
exactly.
that matchup went so quick that it was
Yeah.
like, yo, you look like this. Now you look like that. Yo, you look like this. You look like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And then like,
yeah.
yo, the battle was done within like 3 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Now
y'all
me
just
and him, we
traded the
definitely
five
brought it
that
back.
quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
brought
yeah, but go ahead.
No, go ahead, sorry.
So but like in the traditional style, that we're used to seeing, it's very much like, okay, I got my rebuttal, like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll call you whatever, and then I get my real joke off. But then there's other people like my personal favorite, right? I hope you're not offended by that, right? But the
Oh,
Herm, right?
oh
The
yeah.
Herm,
The Hearn's the
there
goat,
is
man.
there is no limit of jokes that he says.
Exactly.
You might catch 5 in the first round, and you just gonna have
Right.
to hold that.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got to live with it. Then you have to live with it. And I'm glad there's more so many people who have different like, styles like the Hearn. You know what I mean? Not necessarily just like, innovate, but just try to make it different. Like, because I do think there is a lot of people who fall safely into like the little bit more cookie cutter sort of roast style of give it up for or what's another one that they always use? Oh, if you're here, who's, you know what I mean? Like there's only so many times I could hear that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you think that there's any style of joke that's too played out within roast battles?
Oh, tons. Actually, no, it's really funny. Charity
Mm.
Gregory, she has a Google Doc of like hacky roast jokes. And
Mhm.
before their battles in Connecticut, she'll put it out in the group chat with all the roasters. It was like, hey y'all, stay away from this. You know what I mean? Just to like let people know, like, hey, let's try to mix it up. But a lot of times people do really one I'm like sick of hearing is you look like the genie that would come out of blank. You know, I
Like
heard
a
that so
bottle of
many
Hennessy.
times. Yeah, exactly. Come out of a Dutch. Like it's always something like that. It's always something like that. Yeah, there's tons of them, and I try to stay away from them as much as I can. But there's also a reason why people use that, and I like it when somebody maybe starts something similar to that, but then will like remix it in a way that I don't see coming, and like that's
See,
really cool.
there's a thing that bothers me is like the the pedophilia jokes, or like the finding an angle of just a new variation of how to say you're gay.
Yeah,
I feel
Are
like it's a
pedophilia a thing?
well, it's
Like a common thing?
amongst white people, that's comedy, if I'm being
man,
real.
and like
But
I think they're just like, oh, I don't have any like it. I feel like I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it
go
is a
ahead.
lack of creativity because you,
That's what I was just about to say. It's a cop out because I
yeah,
can't speak specifically to this person, what they're wearing, what they look like, and the facts that
yeah,
I know about them. So I'm gonna just
right,
say you're into this weird stuff.
yeah, exactly, yeah. It really derives from a lack of creativity, and they don't know what else to say, and so they're like, how about gay? You know what I mean? How about a pedophile? Da 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 da. Yeah, yeah, I'll say that too. Like that is like a Brandon joke that like I'm really tired of hearing because it's just like it's not memorable, it's not funny, you know. I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Like anything can be funny if you make it, but like you know if you're like relying on nothing, like you know what I'm saying. It has to have
Yeah,
some
but
sort of
it's like
solid
it's
base.
like being around like 4-year-olds and like, yo, I got this real sick poopy joke.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, yo, it's gonna hit just because there's other people that think that's happen to think that's funny.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
you mentioned Charity Gregory sending out like little like PDFs and whatnot, like, hey, try to stay away from there, which kind of
Hmm.
made me think what I thought was real interesting when I went on the Mother's Day event. Well, I actually was coming out. It was game 7 for the Knicks of the previous series. I needed to watch the last of that game as I'm coming out. I go to a bar next door. 5 minutes into me being there, here comes everybody out of the Comedy Cellar that was just performing. I'm talking about Brian Moses, Dan
Yeah,
Wicks is there. Anyone that you could really think of that is in that circuit,
yeah,
was in the building. Um, what is the community like? Because I even saw people that didn't perform pop out and we're still
yeah,
playing the backs, playing the cut. Sometimes,
yeah,
the interchangeable with the host. But like, what's the community like amongst all of you guys? Because
yeah.
you're all within the same world.
Exactly. I mean, it's actually pretty like tight knit, you know, like for real, you know, and like there's always more comics being like added all the time. The weekly roast battle in New York City at Grove 34
Mhm.
every Wednesday, you know, after the roast is over, they go to this bar across the corner. I think it's like called Break Bar or something,
Mhm.
and everybody just hangs out. You know what I mean? Talk shop, say what they like, say what they didn't like. You know what I mean? And they build, and I think that's like probably like one of the best parts of just getting to know all these fantastic comedians and like meet all of them. You know, and again, like it's nice and crazy to see, honestly.
This is going interleague, maybe do we call it, where like the I guess it's expected that like the Connecticut
Hmm.
league might go a little bit into the what is it, like the New York League or something like
Yeah,
that. But you're starting to see, the people from Austin, Texas, the
yeah,
people from LA, the people from, I mean, sheesh, you guys got roast battle leagues in Barcelona and the UK, and
yeah.
you name.
Tokyo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's insane that like,
Yeah.
what's it like to now see the how big it's growing in that sense.
It's awesome. I mean, like again, like I know I just said the thing about
Mhm.
roasting not being like super mainstream, but like
Mhm.
simultaneously, like it's really cool to see it grow as much as it has, and like and it'll continue to in the future. I mean, just even seeing like a guy like Andrew Manning,
Mhm.
which is he was like the world champ And that was really sick. Like to seeing like this guy that I see like nearly every Wednesday, and he's like touted as like the best, like one of the best in the world at roast battle. Like that's amazing to me. You know what I mean? To be able to see that.
For sure. Now, do you have, let's say within the league, right? Maybe you don't got to do it in any particular order. Do you have like your top 3 roasters within the roast battle leagues?
That like I think are the best, or do I like
Yeah, that you think are the best, like as you were, just overhearing their comedy being in the crowd.
Right. Ooh, okay. Top 3, no order. Definitely got it. Like Andrew Manning has to be up there. Dan Wicks honestly has to be up there. And I feel like this is such like the basic answer, but I feel like Charity also has to be up there. I mean, just like out of those 3, like I get excited seeing all of them roast. More than
I got excited too because the girl that I went with clearly reminded me days later, like, yo, you was fangirling for all of them when you seen them in person.
Right.
And I was like, damn, I had to flick it up though. But that makes me want to ask you. You talk about it getting like mainstream. Is there any person that has like most shocked you that they were like into this or knew who you were from this or something like that, or maybe even just anybody that you've met doing this that was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got to meet. I know like people like Jeff Ross pop up sometimes or certain things like that.
I mean, yeah, like that's really cool. I'm trying to think. Like I'm pretty bad with say interactions, but so like like if somebody would like recognizes me from this, I won't let them get a chance to tell me. So I'm like, dodge it, I'm ducking out the way. But I mean, I feel like there's like like tons of like really dope names like coming through all the time. Like Grove, like Isabel Hagen, Lucas Arnold. I mean, like again, I'm like I kind of alluded to this before, but like I knew some of the writers that wrote for Shane Gillis, Zach Amico, JP McDade, Dave Cyrus. You know what I mean? Like all people who I've met doing roast. So I think that's just like I don't know. I think that's like part of like the coolest world for me, at least. It doesn't. I don't care if nobody else knows. It's just like to me, that's like really sick.
I want to give you the platform to do so, man. Do you want to let the people know where they could catch you within the next coming weeks? Where you're gonna be at here, there, uptown, downtown.
Totally. Actually, this is not Roast Battle League. It's actually a Comedy Fight Club, but they're having their I think it's an anniversary show on the 31st, and I'll be roasting there. I think her name is Aaliyah Borjak or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be there May 31st, 7 p.m. or 9. I mean, you'll see it on the website.
For sure. As far as the Roast Battle League, when you got your next appearance coming up?
And I believe that one would be May 27th, if I'm not mistaken, and that'll be at Grove 34. So I have a large calendar.
I was gonna say hit the link in his bio.
Where's your calendar? Where can people find you?
Yeah. So on Instagram, in the link in the bio, that's the best way for people to find me.
Shout out your Instagram.
And I update my stories regularly with like where I'm gonna be within the week. So, yeah.
And what's your Instagram? Let the people know real quick.
It's at Agunbiade. Agun spelled AGUNBREEZZY. It's a play on my last name. Not a lot of people understand that.
Now, for the people, right? Because I seen the comics take an attempt at the last name, and it seems like they always butcher it, man. Could you give the proper pronunciation of the last name real quick?
It's Agunbiade.
Okay, we're not going full on them, are we?
Yo, if y'all really want to get funky with it, throw a little accent on it, you know what I'm saying? Agunbiade. Yeah. That's how you really gotta say it. You know what I mean?
Copy.
Yeah, but everybody gets it wrong the first time, but it got a rhythm to it. That's what people don't understand. If you just let yourself feel a little Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Where's that from?
You said what?
Where's that from?
Oh, Nigeria. So my dad is Yoruba and my mom's Igbo. That's a Yoruba last name, but I dabbled in both. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
There you go. Nice, man. Anything else that you want to shout out, man, before we get on out of here, man? I've been really enjoying this. It's good to know a little bit more. It's great to have the people know a little bit more. But anything again you want to shout out before we get on out of here?
Just follow me, make sure you you see where I'm at.
Yeah, and you gotta tell the people, yo, you gotta start roasting them for a fee. That might be a kink, low key.
Hey, and
you might need to start a roasting OnlyFans.
A roasting OnlyFans, yes.
Roasting OnlyFans. That would be some.
Somebody just like, yo, just talk crazy to me for this
only
1 minute video.
Feet pictures.
Right. Yeah, but see, because then you're gonna get somebody to be really weird, and I don't want to turn nobody on.
Listen, but we are going up big for my birthday. May 30th, we gonna be at Midnight Ferry, man. I'm gonna be taking over for the whole summer. If I'm sure at this point I've announced that. But yo, if you free, I'm gonna be at the waterfront of Newburgh, man. Pull up May 30th.
We outside.
Yo, I could pass you the mic. You can roast me real quick if you want.
not for your birthday,
bro. There's no better day.
That's very true.
But listen, man, y'all, I appreciate you for giving us some time, man, for giving us a little bit of insight to the roasting world, man. And yo, keep doing your thing, man. Keep killing for real.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, thanks for having me. This was super fun. You know what I mean?
Thank you for taking the time out.
Yeah,
of course.
Again, I love.
I'm gonna keep watching. You know what it is, man. Your boy Rapz, aka Thrustin Timberlake. We really out here, man. Erin Boogie here with me. Petty White. Why? Because she petty, and don't forget she white. All right. This has been another episode of NFL Radio, 91.3 FM WVKR, Poughkeepsie's independent radio. Did I forget to say anything else? I don't know, but we out. Blow.